it's still, they may still be taking a minute to join. Does that work? Which looks better? That's not bad, actually. That's not bad. All right. Howdy, Halifax. All right. All right. There's YouTube. Hey, Tree Robot. All right. And TikTok is ready. Oh, actually, it's still not. Well, the sun hasn't set completely. You actually get you can't tell. On TikTok, you can tell. On TikTok, you can tell that there's actually a sun, not a pretty sunset, but still kind of twilight, which is kind of pretty. There we go. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. I just had a little bit of a mini Snickers, so I'm happy. I had some pizza and then mini Snickers, so cuckoo, Gunther. Anyway, hello, TikTok. There we go. My little baby Snickers made me feel better. So how's everybody doing? Good evening, all. Hello, hello, hello. Thursday. God, it's already the end of January. I mean, this is good, though. Hey, Fallen. Oh, hey, Fallen. I haven't noticed you in a few days. Hey, Bjorn. It's like end of January already, which is crazy. Favorite color is red. Yeah, so crazy. So anyway, oh boy, good amount of news. Salut Gaïa de Genève. J'ai visité Genève 2 fois, 3 fois, je sais pas. But ça fait longtemps maintenant. Do I like eggs? Yeah, eggs are good. I don't love eggs. Eggs are good though. Like I like making things with eggs. So like omelets. I mean, like eggs is just even omelets depends. Yeah, depends. Hey, Papo. Anyway, yeah. So welcome, guys. Welcome. What's going on? When you speak of the English, hey, Wojo. We're all discussing eggs now. I'm not sure why, but what the hell? Hey, Callum, and the other Callum, my other Callum in Ireland, not to be confused with Callum from Ireland, who's here in the States. Anyway, welcome, guys. I'm John Aravosis. It's my show. We talk about the latest news from around the world from a Washington perspective. I'm in Washington. I've lived here for far too long, probably like 40 years, 2 years in DC, otherwise 40 years here. So I tend to talk about the news from an American perspective because I'm American, even though I've studied a lot and been around the world. So I try not to be, I try not to say an American perspective in a bad way, if you know what I mean. Callum is Scottish. My Callum's Scottish. Why? What did I say? Did I say he was, did I say he was English or what did I say? I don't know. What did I say Callum was? Who knows what Callum is? Anyway, welcome, guys. Irish? I could not have said Irish. I didn't get used from Ireland, I said? Oh, you're from Ireland. I'm sorry. Oh, gotcha. Okay, you're from Ireland. Yeah. Our Callum is from Scotland. Okay. I was getting confused. I'm like, I doubt I said Callum was from Ireland. That would be kind of dumb of me to say that. So, okay. I said Ireland? That's a little weird. Okay. That's weird. Okay. I don't know why I said Ireland. The thing is, like, when I'm like talking to you guys, looking at the screens, I'm not always like processing in my, what I'm saying, because I'm trying to see like what's going on and, all this kind of stuff. So anyway, welcome everybody. We'll start the show. So I'm John Aravosis. As always, keep the gifts coming. Appreciate the gifts from you guys supporting my work. Very nice of you. Super fans are especially welcome. Members, subscribers, whatever you want to call it. Il mio italiano è molto buono. Grazie. Basically people who pay once a month to be subscribers, which I appreciate. We've got the show this weekend for both of you, for both levels of subscriptions, for the super fans on Saturday on TikTok, YouTube, Discord, and then Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern, and then Sunday for the super duper fans on YouTube and Discord, because TikTok doesn't let me do that anymore. And it's actually, TikTok was broken when I tried to set it up for the super duper fans, for basically people who do $25 or more a month. There are several of you. Very sweet of you guys to do that. Hey, Uraganas from Lithuania. I'm never going to get that name correct. It sounds like hurricane. Uragan. And I'm trying to think if that was, or it sounds like an orc name, actually. The mighty Uragan. Anyway, nice to see you. Anyway, guys, let's get rolling here. Okay. So yeah, so this weekend, Saturday and then Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern. So let's get rolling. ICE funding. So The ICE funding deal is still kind of up in the air. It looks like they decided to, they did reach it. Well, they didn't reach a final deal, but they reached an interim deal, meaning initially ICE funding for Department of Homeland Security and ICE, right, was tied together with a number of other agencies, including Defense Department. And what the Democrats were saying was just split them apart, right? Split them apart and we're fine. What's the problem, right? We can pass defense spending, we can pass the rest of that and put the ICE Homeland Security spending to the side and we'll negotiate. Well, finally, the Republicans came along and said, okay, we'll do that. So they're going to vote on defense and all of that and pass it. And for ICE and Homeland Security, so that they don't shut down that portion of the government, well, even though ICE wouldn't get shut down, they've got enough money, they're going to continue it for a few weeks. Basically, you could do a continuing resolution that says, fund them at the current level for X number of weeks more, which gives us more time to negotiate. Now, Democrats are asking for 2 weeks continuance. So meaning the Democrats are saying, okay, we will continue to fund Homeland Security for 2 more weeks pending the negotiation, but in 2 weeks, the money runs out. Republicans want 4 weeks. Now, why? Well, think about it. Right now, the polls are really bad for Republicans, right? Right now, the polls are, people are pissed, right? The ICE has been murdering American citizens, publicly executing them. The polls are in the tank. The Trump administration's been handling the issue terribly. It only benefits the Republicans. Oh, thank you, Lady Bond. Appreciate the gift there. The Sunday. It only benefits Republicans to say, let's move the negotiations off a month from now, and then we'll get to it. Because what they hope is in a month, maybe people have forgotten about the murders. In a month, maybe the protesters in Minnesota will do something stupid, and maybe they'll, who knows, they'll commit violence themselves, and then the public will be divided, right? So it only benefits the Republicans to say, let's put this off for another month. So Democrats are saying, no, it's going to be 2 weeks. Now, I would argue, exactly, Launch just said they should have countered 1 week. I agree. I think the Democrats should have countered and said, no, you've got, right? They had a week. From when Alex was murdered and the Democrats said what they wanted, Republicans had a week. And Democrats should have said, you have 1 week. And if you don't agree to our terms, the government's getting shut down. But I feel like continuing it an extra 2 weeks, I agree. I think maybe make it a week would have been better. Just to say, no, okay, fine. You know what? Out of the goodness of our hearts, we're giving you 1 more week. Now, I will say this. From the Democrats' perspective, you're always playing a little bit of a game, not a game, but a public relations game with the public. You don't want the public to think that Democrats are being difficult, that Democrats are responsible for shutting down the government, right? You want them to think it's the Republicans' fault. So that may also be why Democrats are trying to give a little more leeway so they can say, oh, no, we gave them an extension even. We gave the Republicans 2 more weeks even. We could have shut it down, but we didn't. So we're not responsible for shutting it down. If we wanted to shut it down, we would have shut it down tomorrow. Right. But we're giving them 2 more weeks. So my guess is that's why hopefully it's not just weakness. I don't think it's just weakness. I think it's Democrats trying to in good and you could argue we've got to be as Hillary Clinton once said, Democrats have to be the mature adults in the room. And a mature adult thing to do would say, rather than blowing up the negotiations by shutting everything down tomorrow, I will give you 2 more weeks. Thank you, Mel, for the paper crane. Right, I will give you 2 more weeks. So that would be the adult thing to do. Having said that, I'm not sure we're dealing with people who are I think when you do the adult thing with these people, they cut your head off. Like what was the Obama? Well, you know what I mean. I was gonna use the Obama analogy, but I don't want to give a weapons analogy because TikTok might not like it. But it's like bringing a banana to a something fight. You know what I mean? Like Democrats kind of try to play fair and nice, and then Republicans don't play fair and don't play nice. So anyway, Trump shared a tweet last night calling Alex Preddy a domestic terrorist. Trump claims he's trying to calm things down. Big surprise, he's not. I don't think he's congenitally, like in his genes, I don't think he has the ability to calm things down. I don't think he really has the ability to control himself. Last night, Trump sent out 56 tweets on his social media network, whatever, they call them something else, but they're tweets basically. 56, excuse me, I should have said 56 in 1 hour. In 1 hour, Trump sent out 56 tweets. That's a little crazy. Among them was, hang on a second here, where was my, I'm trying to find my little notes on this. I may have put it further down on my list, but it's okay. Did I put it further? It did. I put it down further on my list, but I'll talk about it right now. So Trump sent 56 social media posts in an hour last night, including a wide-ranging election conspiracy theory alleging that Italy, the government of Italy, was in cahoots with the CIA, Barack Obama, China, military satellites, and I think the Iranians in stealing the 2020 election, he claimed. I mean, not to mention Italy. Currently, Trump is already in a scandal with Italy where the Italians are livid because Trump is planning on bringing ICE with him, the ICE officers with him, to the Olympics in Milan in a week. And a lot of the Italians are like, why is my government letting you bring these guys who murdered an Italian American and we want them on Italian soil? Like, why would you do that? Well, now Trump is putting out conspiracy theories that the Italian government stole the election from him in 2020 using military satellites. Guys, this stuff with him. Now, the thing is, with him, you never know if he believes this stuff or it's all part of just stuff on my shoulder, or if it's all part of an elaborate lie. And I don't know which one it is with him, right? It could be he's just trying to lie to his supporters. It could be that he believes it. I don't know. But it's crazy stuff, obviously. What else did he say? He also claimed that Walmart's a big American box store, like a big retailer. Trump claimed in tweets last night that Walmart was closing 85% of its California stores because of the $22 minimum wage. That's too high. Walmart had to come out and say, we haven't closed any stores in California, and we actually just recently opened one. We're not closing stores in California. Guys, he just made it up. He literally made this up and shared it as the president of the United States. He claimed that Walmart was closing 85% of its 303 stores in California, and they're not. Again, like crazy stuff here. He also shared an AI-generated video in which a robot accuses California Governor Gavin Newsom of running a money laundering scheme with a Mexican cartel. Gavin Newsom is not running a money laundering scheme with a Mexican cartel. There's something wrong here. There's something, and unfortunately, we've gotten very used to his wrongness, so to speak. That is not normal behavior for anyone, let alone the president of the United States. Anyway, we'll go back to the election raid. So this is getting weirder. So a lot of people are very concerned that Trump yesterday got a court to agree to a warrant or whatever for him to raid some Georgia election offices and take the ballots, copies of the ballots from the 2020 election that he lost and that he once again claims he won. Trump claimed he won the election, and then 2 years ago, he finally admitted that he didn't win the election. Thank you, Marcia. Very generous gift. He finally admitted he didn't win, and now he's claiming he won again in 2020. 2020 is when he lost to Biden. And he raided the Georgia election offices, took a bunch of the ballots. Legally, there's nothing he can do. I mean, there's nothing he can do. It's the election's over. Statute of limitations go. I mean, there's literally nothing he can do. What people are worried about is two things. One, more generally, I think three things. More generally, why is Trump, like, what is he doing? Why is he raiding election offices? Why is he grabbing copies of old ballots? What's he up to, right? Second concern, thank you, Marcia. Second concern is that photographed hiding during the raid, and she was literally around a corner, and she's wearing a baseball cap around the corner like this on her phone, hiding, but they got her photo. Jean. Oh, Jerry, Jean got a very cool gift. I've never seen that one before. Ooh, queen statue. Am I a queen? Thank you, Jean. That was very cool. Thank you. I've never seen that one. That was very cool. So He Tulsi Gabbard was there. Tulsi Gabbard was there hiding. She was running the raid, but she was hiding behind a corner. And again, with a baseball, Tulsi Gabbard doesn't wear baseball caps. Tulsi Gabbard likes to wear flashy white suits. She wears these white suits, and she's got that black hair with the Bride of Frankenstein white stripe through it. And she likes her Bride of Frankenstein white stripe. Like she shows it off, I think, right? It's her badge. Tulsi Gabbard does not show up in public. I mean, Kristi Noem sometimes does baseball caps to look cool, right? Like she's one of the guys. Tulsi Gabbard doesn't do that. She was wearing a baseball hat, hiding around a corner on the phone, and they got a photo of her. Tulsi Gabbard is the director of national intelligence. She's in some ways the top intelligence official in the Trump administration, which is very scary because a lot of people think she's got problems with her relationships with Russia. A lot of the allies don't trust her. A lot of Americans don't trust her. Trump has made Tulsi the head of his investigation of the 2020 election. The problem is, thank you, Laddie, she's his top foreign intelligence official. Oh, thank you, Carrie. It would be akin to making the CIA in charge of a domestic investigation of a domestic issue. We don't do that in America. It's very scary in America. It tends to be illegal in America. Our foreign agencies, whether it's the CIA, the Pentagon, the State Department, by law, they're not supposed to operate inside America because historically, if the CIA were operating inside America, bad things would happen. We don't want our spy agency doing stuff to us, right? Little less concerned if they're doing stuff to you guys, no offense, abroad, but they shouldn't be doing. Think about it, even in your own country too, right? I mean, your foreign spy agency is taking the lead on a domestic election investigation. It's creepy. And so Tulsi's taking the lead on this, which is just, as I said, very, very scary. We found out today from the Financial Times that the Trump administration held secret meetings with Alberta, Canada separatists, with fringe separatists who want to break away from Canada. The Trump administration has been secretly meeting with them. This is from the Financial Times. Guys, that's kind of an act of war. It is certainly worthy in Alberta, exactly. It is certainly worthy of breaking off relations, of calling back your ambassador. Canada is being good because I think Canada, unfortunately, and they may not be totally wrong, isn't kind of sure what to do because they're dealing with a neighbor that is massively bigger than them in terms of economic power and military power. That's gone crazy. It's really dangerous stuff. Again, imagine some foreign power that was secretly meeting with American separatists, basically traitors, right? Meeting with sort of traitorous groups, and what these guys did. Listen to this. Financial Times. The Trump administration has held covert meetings with fringe separatists from Canada's oil-rich province of Alberta as a rift deepens between Washington and Ottawa. Leaders of the Alberta Prosperity Project, a group of far-right separatists who want the Western province to become independent, met U.S. State Department officials in Washington 3 times since April of last year. Meeting 3 times? Meeting once is because you're crazy and you meet with crazy people, and you shouldn't, but you do. Meeting once. Meeting 3 times with these guys, secret meetings in Washington, means they're doing something. They're working with, I have worked in Washington for 40 years in national politics. When you have a secret foreign organization meet 3 times with Trump officials at the State Department secretly, 3 times, they're working on something. 1 time is they're meeting crazy people, which is unfortunate. 3 times is they're planning something. Listen to this. The separatists are seeking another meeting next month with the State Department and the Treasury to ask for a $500 billion with a B, like we're made of money here, $500 billion credit facility to help bankroll the province if an independence referendum is passed. They want us to promise $500 billion if they're able to break free of Canada. Now, knowing Trump, I'm sure he'll probably say, right? I mean, I could see Trump saying, yes, they ought to go to jail for treason. I mean, you're literally meeting with a foreign government, plotting how to break away from your country. Really? I mean, really? We talked about and we asked, like, only 1 year into this administration, how much more dangerous could it get? Right? How much more dangerous could it get? The Trump administration is now basically secretly meeting, not basically, they are secretly meeting with people looking to, well, maybe not overthrow the Canadian government, but I guess overthrow it in their region. Just again, horrific, these people. A little bit more. Oh, yeah. So speaking of secret stuff, some guy, and I'm always very intrigued about this. Mods obviously translate that first and then decide if you're going to boot him. Some guy shows up in Greenland and tries to raise an American flag over a plaza. And fortunately, they saw him and they got to him first and stopped him. Gunther, don't do it. Yeah. What worries me, he was a German comedian. Okay, that's better. That had me worried. He was a German comedian. Okay, he apologized. Okay, that's good. He thought that was funny? Wow. A German comedian thought it was funny raising an American flag in Greenland. I mean, yeah. Well, all right. I mean, okay, good. Because I was a little worried about whether we were behind that. I'm glad he, it was him and not us. So when Trump shared all those crazy posts last night, remember I told you he shared 56 social media posts within 1 hour last night. Okay. One of the social media posts Trump shared claimed Wisconsin had 7.4 million registered voters. There are 7 million people registered to vote in Wisconsin. By the way, this is a total lie. What I'm telling you, I'm telling you the truth that Trump did this. What Trump alleged is a total lie. He alleged falsely that Wisconsin has 7.4 million our state of Wisconsin, 7.4 million voters. But the state population is only 3.6 million adults. How can there be 3 or 4 million? How could there be 4 million people in the state and 7.6 million voters? 3 million people voted illegally. Well, you go to the Wisconsin election site and there are 3.6 million active registered voters in Wisconsin, not 7.4 million. So actually there are fewer voters than there are citizens in Wisconsin. Trump lied again. Guys, this stuff it's not funny. It's not just not funny. It's not normal to have a president who is a pathological liar. It is not normal to have a president whose word you simply cannot trust. Anything he says, you cannot trust. I'll get into the rest of that. There's more stuff, speaking of which, that we'll get into in a second. On Iran, the Wall Street Journal reports that Trump has been briefed on a possible wide-ranging plan to attack and blow up Iran's leadership. Trump has moved the assets in place and is moving them in place to possibly go to war with Iran. It's called wag the dog, potentially. What is interesting is what Trump is threatening. This is fascinating. See if you can guess where I'm going with this. Trump is threatening Iran that unless it dismantles its nuclear program, he is going to blow them up. Now, what's wrong with what I just told you? Donald Trump just threatened Iran and said, you better dismantle your nuclear program or I'm going to attack. What's wrong with that sentence, right? Do you remember something Donald Trump told us several months ago? Do you remember a few months ago, Trump got very upset at the Defense Department when the defense intelligence people said that we did not destroy the Iranian nuclear program. We only set it back a little bit. And Donald Trump got furious. Thank you, Succeed. That's a Trump wig. That'll get you a Trump wig. Thank you. Who is that? Adventures and Carrie. So Succeed gets the Trump wig for a minute. Succeed just bought a Trump wig gift. So when Trump attacked Iran, right? several months ago, he told us repeatedly that he completely destroyed Iran's nuclear program, that it was gone. He said the Defense Intelligence Agency lied when they said that he did not fully destroy Iran's nuclear program. If Donald Trump last year he didn't just say that we fully destroyed their program. He said we destroyed it so much. Thank you, Carrie. Oh, that's the silver car. Thank you, Carrie. That was very nice of you. Trump said that we didn't just destroy Iran's nuclear program. We destroyed it to such a degree that it was never coming back, he said. Google the quotes. Because I remember what was amazing about it. Thank you again. What was amazing about it is that right, we obliterated it and it's not coming back, he said. 6 months later, we are now having to, thank you, Claire. We are now potentially going to war with Iran 6 months later because they're at the point in their nuclear program that they're dangerous again. The Defense Intelligence Agency was correct. Donald Trump lied to us again. I mean, when it happened at the time, I told you guys at the time, I said, this is dangerous. People like to sort of say, yeah, Donald Trump's a pathological liar, but it's funny, blah, blah, blah. And I said, when it comes to policy or national security, it's not good to have a pathological liar because here's what happens. When Trump says, oh no, all the experts are wrong. I destroyed Iran's nuclear program and it's never coming back. It's gone. Then it means we don't have to keep monitoring it. It means they could start building again. And he has an incentive. Thank you, Diana. He has an incentive to not even do anything about it because it is embarrassing to him that now he's got to admit publicly that 6 months later, Iran is a nuclear threat again to us, when 6 months ago he said he destroyed it permanently. Thank you, Diana, again. Yeah. Again, it's just these lies are very dangerous, which is unfortunate. Associated Press has some new polls. The polls are good though. Republicans less happy with Trump than they were, which is very good. Republicans' confidence in Trump has declined over the last year, and they are now less likely to support his agenda, according to a new Pew Research poll. Pew is very, 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 very reputable polling here in America. I would say one of the most reputable. While most Republicans, 56%, still say they support all or most of Trump's plans and policies, that's down from about 2/3 shortly after he took office. That's a big deal. Remember we talked about this? When looking at Republican polls, hey, Titsokaks in Estonia, remember I talked about this. When looking at Republican polls, anything that's below 85% is not good. Trump should be getting Putin-like numbers, right? He should be getting 93% support, this kind of stuff. When it's in the 70s, it's not good. This is 56%. Only 56% of Republicans support all or most of Trump's agenda. That's interesting, right? That means almost half of Republicans are not willing to say they support most of Trump's agenda. That's interesting. What's really interesting is that right when Trump got elected, 2/3 of Republicans said they supported most or all of his agenda. It's gone from 75% to 56%. That's a 20% drop. That's big in 1 year, right? I mean, that's very good. The survey also shows sharp declines in Republicans' confidence that Trump has the mental fitness to serve as president, respect the country's democratic values, or act ethically in office. That's good. Only about 4 in 10, listen to this, only 4 in 10 Republicans are now highly confident in Trump acting ethically in office, down from 55% early last year. Okay, having said that, that's pretty bad. 55%. They voted Trump into office when only 55% of them had high confidence in him acting ethically as president. So half of Republicans thought Trump was going to be potentially unethical. They didn't have confidence in his ethics at all, in him being an ethical man. And they voted for him anyway, because she had a funny laugh. And you know the other 2 reasons they didn't like her. I don't want to go all DEI on TikTok. TikTok doesn't like those things, Did I say 75? 2/3 is 70. Yes, 2/3 is 66%. Still 66 to 56 is still a big drop. Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm being spacey tonight. I'm not sure why. What else we got? Oh, another AP poll. Listen to this. Majorities of Americans say it is definitely or probably acceptable to record video of immigration officers while they make arrests, according to Pew. Again, about 9 in 10 Democrats and 6 in 10 Republicans say it's okay. Now, that's interesting. Again, Republicans, 6 in 10 Republicans say it is okay to make videos of immigration officers while they're making arrests. That's really good. I mean, now Republicans, might not be good on a lot of other stuff with regards to immigration, but 6 in 10, 60% support activists taking videos of the ICE officers, basically. That's interesting. That's good, actually. That's very good. ICE in Ecuador. So there's an update. Remember yesterday we talked about ICE trying to barge in to the Ecuadorian consulate in Minnesota, and that would be, illegal. And the Ecuadorians freaked out. I guess the consul general was there running at them at the door saying, "Stop it, get back, don't come in," because they were trying to barge their way in. ICE now gave a further explanation of what happened. Their explanation is hilarious. ICE says they were trying to apprehend a man who went running into the consulate. Not surprised. Listen to this, and I'm going to show you something. ICE said Thursday that their officers didn't know the building included. Okay, this is great. They didn't know the building included the Ecuadorian consulate. Okay, hang on a second here. Hang on. I'm getting the photo ready to show you. They did not know that the building included the Ecuadorian consulate, and it wasn't clearly marked. So first of all, what ICE claimed today was, 1, the Ecuadorian consulate is not marked on the outside. 2, they didn't know the consulate was inside the building along with everything else that was inside the building. Okay? So they're claiming the consulate was inside a building that had lots of other things like a shopping mall. That's their first claim, right? They didn't know it was inside the building. Again, right? They're claiming like a shopping mall where you walk inside and there's lots of offices. 2, it wasn't marked. Let me show you. Okay. This is the outside. And I went and pulled it up again. I pulled it up on Google Maps. This is the outside of the consulate. First of all, is that the entrance to a shopping mall that you wouldn't know the consulate was inside? Right. They literally claimed today that the consulate was inside the building and they didn't know it was inside the building. Right. Second of all, it's not clearly marked. Let me show you what that sign says. Hold on a moment. Let's have a quick little look at what that sign says. I don't know if you can tell. It's a little blurry. Okay. República del Ecuador, Consulado. Not clearly marked. That thing is the size. That thing, you can tell by looking at it, it's 3 feet tall. It's not clearly marked. They were standing at this side of the door, right under the sign. It's not clearly marked. The thing is, why do they have to lie about it? Why do they have to lie about it? Right? I mean, that's the thing that blows my mind. I mean, again, I'm going to read this. They didn't know. No, I should say they didn't know the building included the Ecuadorian consulate. Again, suggesting that it was an unmarked building that had the consulate inside in addition to other offices. No, it was. Actually, I want to pull up the street too, since they're outright lying about this, right? Let's pull up the actual street view, okay? Ecuadorian consulate, Minneapolis. There we go. Street view. Here we go. Oops. I've got to find it first. Oops, it's finding me the wrong building. Come on, Google. What the hell? Where is this? I don't know where it is. I'm trying to find on Google where it is. Oh, here it is. Duh. Okay. So this is the building. They didn't know that the building included the consulate. That's the front door from the street. You didn't know the building included the consulate? There's nothing else there from the street. I mean, it literally, it's marked with a big sign on it. Again, they're just lying, guys. That's what, and I don't like it. I don't like it when people lie. And they could have said, we were running after the guy. He went through a door. We grabbed the door. We didn't even look up. That would be at least more honest, right? We weren't even looking. We were literally chasing the suspect. And when you're chasing a suspect, your eyes are on him, right? You're running. He goes to the door. You go through the door. But you don't say, we didn't know the building included the consulate, and then to throw in the lie and say the door wasn't marked. When, again, the door had two signs on it, and they were standing at the door trying to get in, and there was a huge sign right there at the door. I mean, why lie? Exactly. That's the thing, Kelly, for me. For me, the lie goes to character, right? The lie, I've said this before, if your story keeps changing, basically if your story keeps changing, you're lying, oh, that's good. Oh, God, Amazon blows my mind sometimes. Oh no, that's a different one. Never mind. I thought I got my Amazon delivery, but it was for Sasha. I get some omega-3 pills for my dog that the vet recommended that are, actually, these are my omega-3 pills. See, they're good for your brain. I was going to say, I need them tonight because I'm being spacey tonight. Yes, I think these are for my dog. My dog and I both take omega-3, which I think is the funniest damn thing. When the dog starts to get prescribed the same thing you're getting a little too close to your dog. Anyway, thank you, Lupo. Grazie. What else do we have here? This was interesting. Trump on the new Fed chair. So the Federal Reserve chair will be, his chairman Powell. You know how Trump's trying to take out the Fed chair. The Fed is in charge of setting interest rates. Trump wants them to lower interest rates massively, which could spike inflation dangerously. Trump, listen to this. Trump says about Powell, okay? We have a guy that doesn't want to do it. Lower interest rates 3 points. I think he's politically biased, Trump says. Powell is a Republican appointed by whom? Appointed by Donald Trump. Powell was appointed by Donald Trump, and he's a Republican. And Trump thinks Powell is politically biased against Donald Trump when Powell is a Republican chosen by Donald Trump. That's the first point. Second of all, and this is the quote that I think people are going to miss, okay? Listen to this. The article then says, the concern is that a lot of people, a lot of experts think, frankly, everyone thinks, other than Donald Trump, if interest rates are lowered 3 percentage points, inflation is going to go through the roof. Because that's the whole point of interest rates. You want to lower them to help the economy, but not so far that inflation goes horrific. I mean, horrific, 10, 20% inflation. Trump's response to that today, in talking about this, thank you, Diana, for the silver car. Trump's response to that today was the following, to concerns about interest rates causing inflation. Listen to this. If inflation comes, then we'll take care of it when it comes. That's a campaign ad right there. Donald Trump said today that if inflation comes to America, he will deal with inflation when it comes. That's another Trump lie I was telling you guys about, and I was saying it was dangerous. He's saying we don't have inflation. He's saying if inflation comes, he'll deal with it, if it ever comes. The biggest concern in America right now is inflation. I mean, it's ICE and all that stuff, but the biggest concern is inflation right now from the people across the board, right? The biggest concern is the economy and that Trump isn't taking it seriously. I said months ago that thank you, Amanda, Trump was repeatedly claiming that inflation's over. It's ended. Inflation's much lower than it was when Biden was president. In fact, he lied. Inflation is at 3% right now. It is exactly at the level it was when Donald Trump took over from Joe Biden. Google this and you'll see. Google it right now. You will see that the inflation rate under Joe Biden and Donald Trump has not changed one bit. It's the exact same 3% rate. Thank you, Carrie, for the car. And I said a couple months ago when Trump started his lie and said, oh, I beat inflation, it's all gone. Okay. When I said, when that happened, let me check, Carol. I said, when that happened, I said, this is dangerous because if Donald Trump, this is just like the Iran stuff. with the nuclear program, right? If Donald Trump is claiming that inflation is over, that he beat inflation and now it's zero, he's not going to work on inflation. He's not going to work to help you and me on inflation if he's claiming inflation is over, because he doesn't need to work on it because he thinks in that head of his that inflation's gone. And he let it slip right here. If inflation comes, then we'll take care of it when it comes, as if we don't have inflation right now. Right? I mean, how dangerous is that? And again, why doesn't he know? Why does Donald Trump not know that we have inflation? Right? What does that even mean? I don't understand this. Hang on a second. I'm going to, you're going away. If you're not a troll, you can come back. But that was a spammy comment on YouTube. So if you're not spamming, you can come back. But that was very spammy. I'm not seeing anything right here. Sorry, Carol was saying there was a deal reached. Although, are you sure, Carol, the deal isn't the one I already announced? We know they reached a deal to postpone for 2 weeks. Is that the deal? Or you're saying they reached a deal? I'm just trying to look here, but this, as always, TikTok is bad. I mean, TikTok. Sorry, TikTok. Didn't mean you. YouTube or Twitter is bad. Oh, Jesus. I can't find anything here. Wait. Oh. Oh, God. Either this is a joke or this is real. I'm sorry. Somebody wrote something. It might be a joke. I think it's a joke. It'd be funny if it was true. Somebody wrote, remember Greg Bovino? Greg Bovino was the guy that liked to wear the German style, kind of American, but kind of German style military clothing, and the haircut, the head of Border Patrol that was in charge of all the scary stuff in Minnesota. And he got demoted and basically kicked out. Greg Bovino was asked how he felt about his demotion today. Well, obviously, I'm not happy, he replied. Someone in the crowd shouted back, so which one are you? Think about it. Get it? The Seven Dwarves. Because he's this little guy. I hope to God this is true. I hope to God this is true. That would be, it's a damn good joke to start with. It's a damn good joke. But that would be very funny if it's true. I'm looking here. Yep, still not seeing anything about a deal being reached. Hold on. Most recent. So I'm looking here. I'm still suspicious that the deal may not be a deal. It might be, but I think it may just be a deal to, like I said, continue funding for 2 weeks. No, there was a deal an hour ago. Are you sure, Carol? I'm sorry, but it depends what the breaking. Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. A deal. We know the deal was. My point is, what does it say? Because a deal was reached an hour ago to separate the bills and continue funding for 2 weeks while they work on a deal. That's my point. Right. So the deal that was reached could be exactly what I'm telling you already was. Yeah. Check it out. But that's why I'm saying, like, with this stuff, you've got to be very precise. But you got to be precise because it's the deal that I already told you about. Yeah. The deal is not to shut down the government and keep negotiating. How long are they negotiating for? That's an interesting question. How long did Democrats agree to keep the government to extend funding for 2 weeks? Amanda and company. What's the? Did it say how long they said they'd leave it at 2 weeks? Oh, that's okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. Okay, 2 weeks isn't bad. Republicans wanted 4 weeks, so that's not bad. The deal is two things. One, the Department of Homeland Security funding bill that ICE is a part of was tied together with the Defense Department spending bill and a number of other programs, agencies. And Republicans basically were trying to tell Democrats, well, You're just going to have to vote up or down on all of them. And Democrats said, okay. And Republicans went, like, in other words, the Defense Department doesn't get money either. And Republicans freaked out. So Democrats said, just separate the bills. Instead of one piece of legislation that funds 5 agencies or 6 agencies, including Defense Department and ICE, break the bill apart. And we will be happy to vote with you to fund the Defense Department right now. But we're not voting with you to fund ICE right now. And the Republicans finally agreed. That was the first deal. The Republicans said, okay, we'll split the bill apart. We can vote on defense, et cetera, right now and pass it. And ICE, we won't vote on. The second deal was ICE funding kind of runs out tomorrow, but it doesn't because they got tens of billions of dollars from the tax cut. So it's not really running out. But nonetheless, it was kind of running out tomorrow. And Democrats agreed to continue funding ICE and Homeland Security for 2 more weeks while they negotiate with Republicans to put restrictions on ICE. So that's what the deal was. The deal was they reached a deal not to shut down the government by separating the ICE bill, funding bill from the other agencies, and funding ICE and Homeland Security for 2 more weeks while they negotiate to put new rules on ICE. Voila. That is what it is. That's all right. What else we got? Oh, yeah, housing prices. So Trump was talking about housing prices today. Last year, J.D. Vance said, housing prices in America are out of control, and it's all the fault of immigrants, or illegal immigrants. J.D. Vance claimed that that poor Mexican peasants were coming to, or Venezuelan peasants or Costa, whatever, were coming to America and buying up all the property, and that's why housing was getting really expensive or something. It made no sense. Well, today Trump said, I'm not going to work on lowering home prices. I want home prices to go up a lot for people. I want homeowners to make a lot of money. Now, I will say the issue is complicated because, well, it's naive of him to even say it, because supposedly they were saying they thought housing was getting too expensive and people couldn't buy a first-time home. I will say the issue is politically complicated because, I own my apartment. I want housing prices to go up. I don't want housing prices to go down, right? I mean, for people who own homes in America, especially, my retirement, a chunk of it's tied up in this apartment, right? So, but for people who don't own homes, they want housing to be low so they can buy a home. So there are 2 equal parts in society who understandably want something different. So I do think politically it's kind of hard. But for Trump just to outright say it, I think is a bit weird. I think it's weird. But in any case, so the Melania. So there's reportedly a Craigslist ad. I didn't know Craigslist was even still around. There's a Craigslist ad. Again, I had no idea Craigslist is still a thing. There's a Craigslist ad. Attend the Melania documentary. Free tickets, $50, Boston. That if you attend the Melania documentary in Boston, they'll pay you $50. But the last line was my favorite because the last line says, must remain in seats for entirety of film. If it's true, if it's real, they're paying people to go to her film because nobody's going. And it is true. We looked at it yesterday. Washington's getting, the film opens, I think tonight in some place, but tomorrow is when it really opens. In Washington, it's getting some people because there's Trump people here, right? With the administration. Boston, probably not. New York, forget it. We looked yesterday. What do we say? Houston, not great, or Dallas was bad, but Fort Worth was doing pretty well, right? So that I thought was very funny. Some Ukraine news. Trump claims he personally asked Putin not to fire missiles into Kyiv with the extraordinary cold that's going on. Everyone was like, well, Putin just did it again today. So what's going on? So it's not clear what the hell Trump is talking about. The other thing, again, there's really, there isn't any big news. The Russians keep bombing the Ukrainians because they're trying to freeze them to death as a negotiating ploy, except that it's not going to work because the Ukrainians aren't going to just give up their country because the Russians are freezing them, right? And no one would do that. There was something on Twitter today that I think was a joke. It could be true. I think it's a joke, but it could be true. Um, Budanov. Budanov is the guy who was the military intelligence chief, and now I believe he's what is he now? Is he like the deputy prime minister or something? What I forgot. What did Budanov get promoted to? Budanov has some other job now, but it's a big job. I'm forgetting. It's or is he? He's not the top general. No, that's Sikorsky. Whatever. What is Budanov's job now? I'm forgetting what it is now. But he got promoted to like another much bigger, wider job. And the tweet says, which I thought was very funny. Again, it's probably a joke. Dan, I'll get to that in a second. But I love this tweet. So Budanov is famous for basically going after the Russians and taking them out, right? And taking them out. He would, the Russians who did particularly horrific attacks on the Ukrainians, a year or two later, they would suddenly die in an exploding garbage can or an exploding. Remember, one famous thing the Ukrainians did was they blew up a moped. They blew up a moped in Moscow and killed a general. I think it was a general. I mean, like crazy stuff, Israeli level stuff the Ukrainians are doing. So Budanov is the one who's been he's vice president. I was going to say he's something like very high up now, but he was the head of military intelligence. And my suspicion is Budanov probably has his hands still in the military intelligence revenge area. So during negotiations in Abu Dhabi, when the Russians started talking about giving up territories, Budanov would address the speaker and ask, "Excuse me, could you remind me of your last name?" Then he would write something down in his notebook. After that, the Russians stopped talking about Ukraine giving up territories. Again, it might be a joke, but it might actually be very true, which I think would be freaking hilarious. Exactly. He's the dude that doesn't smile. Couldn't you see Budanov going, "Excuse me, what's your last name again?" Going, it's Aravosis. Why? Thank you. Like I'm taking your notes down. Because Budanov's the one. Remember, there was the Russian commander, submarine commander, in charge of one of the horrific attacks on civilians in central Ukraine. I'm forgetting if it's the one that it might have been the one that the little girl died. Remember the little girl in the baby carriage? And you could see her shoes on the ground and the baby carriage was sideways. They killed all these people in this town square. That might have been the one. There were like two very famous ones that really caught people's attention. And the submarine commander, because they launched a missile from the submarine commander who launched the attack, like a year after the attack, he's jogging in Russia. And thank you, Diana, he likes to use an app. I guess people who jog have an app that they can use, with their watch or their phone or whatever that tracks where they are, and they can post their progress. So he liked to brag on his website, because you have an account, how many miles or kilometers he jogged that day, and it showed his path. Well, they killed him. I mean, while he was jogging, somebody came up behind him and boop, that was the end of him. Well, the other part of the story, as I recall, was Budanov wrote a comment, because the webpage that has the traffic, like your path, has comments because your friends can write comments to you. And Budanov left a comment that said something like, "Thank you." And they killed him. A year later, somebody was waiting on the jogging path and took him out. Strava is the name of the app. Okay, Strava is the name of the app. Crazy, absolutely crazy what they did to this guy. So, I mean, the Ukrainians they have Israeli level revenge capabilities. It's really, really tremendous. Thank you, Poppy. So yeah. And that one they absolutely did. The guy's gone. I mean, that one's not even, we know that one's, oh, Dan, thank you, WC. So Dan, I'm sorry about that. Melania, in Austin and a few other cities, Dan says, a massive burst of new luxury apartment complexes incentivized locals to move or level up with their next lease and has actually pushed down the rent of older buildings. I'm not sure I understand what that is. In Austin and a few other cities, Austin, Texas, a massive burst of new luxury apartment complexes Okay, so there's new luxury apartments. Instead of locals to move or level up with their next lease and push down the rent of older buildings. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. I see. So basically, Austin, Texas, and some other cities got some new, very nice, like luxury apartments. And the luxury apartments have convinced some of the people who are doing well, but are in older apartment buildings, to leave their apartments and move into the nicer buildings, which is opening up room in the older apartments. And it's pushing down the rent. My guess is it's pushing down the rent because supply and demand. If you've got more supply per se, right? You're going to, per se, you're going to have prices. Well, they're not going to go up as much, or they might go down. Okay. Or maybe they wouldn't go. Somebody else is saying their son's rent is not going down. The only thing is, it also, my guess is at the very least, it would put downward pressure on rent. That doesn't mean rent would go down. It's the second derivative, if anybody's into calculus, which is basically something can still increase, but you can cut the rate of increase. So instead of it going up, let's pretend rent goes up $500 a year, it could go up $250 a year. And you could say, well, rent is still going up. It didn't work. Well, it did work to a degree, because rent was going up $500 a year. Now rent is only going up $250 a year. That may still be too much, but the rate of increase has slowed. So that's like the second derivative. I've always liked second derivatives. I think they're cool. But in any case, so it's possible that it helped, but rents are still going up, for example. But so it didn't help enough, basically. Anyway, that's it. That's it. Now we can hang and chat. That was a long one today, not intentionally, but there was a good amount of news. I'm going to yawn at you again. Oops, sorry. Stop it. There we go. Sorry, I hit the wrong thing on my iPad. TikTok, you disappeared for a second. Not disappeared, but it brought up some stuff. Anyway. Yep. There we go. Still very snowy outside. Pretty snowy. Pretty snow. On YouTube, you can see all the snow out there. Actually, TikTok as well. All my stuff. Very pretty. My little path lights in the snow. Just hoping it melts. It's been so cold here. 16 degrees again today. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. I've not heard the Springsteen song. Yeah, Springsteen has a new song about Minnesota, I guess. That came out yesterday, I think. I just happened not to mention it. Didn't mean to not mention it, but I've not heard it or anything yet. Oh, excuse me. I've not heard it though. North Korea missile attacks. Oh God. Well, the only thing is, it could be a North Korea missile test. I mean, boycotting tomorrow. Yeah, that's not going to work though. I don't think unfortunately, we're not at the point yet of having people not shop. I think, as Ruben Gallego said, that's going to be literally, they try to steal the election. Like, that's when you're going to see them shut the country down economically. Ruben said, Senator Gallego. But before that, I just think it's not, even though of course it's horrible, it's still not bad enough. I mean, it's my political advice is it's not bad enough for people to just, shut down the economy. They're not gonna. Whether they should, right, is a different question. But my point is, you're not going to be successful. Don't mean to be Debbie Downer, but it's just not going to work yet. People are panicked, but they're not panicked. I'm trying to see what else is here in the news. Hold on. What is this? Just trying to see here. Oh, right. The ethics thing dropping. No, I'm not seeing any, no. Yeah, I'm not seeing any news here. All right. More people are reporting on the story I told you yesterday about Trump sent out in his leadership pack, sent out an email threatening to sic ice on people if they didn't fill out the survey and make a donation. It did. That's what I thought. It did. Thank you again, Dan, for that. It did mention the donation. It had a donation. I knew it did. It was an email that basically said, why have you not responded to my citizenship survey? Are you an illegal? If you are, am I going to have to sick ICE on you? Please respond to my survey so I don't have to have ICE take you down, or yeah, have ICE take you down, or whatever the expression was he used. And it was like, it's not just a survey, it's an email marketing campaign thing where the survey ends with a donation. Trump was trying to get a donation from people by writing to his supporters and saying, I'm confused. I think you might be illegal. Please fill this out to prove to me that you're not illegal. And by the way, give me some money. I mean, it doesn't get more unethical than, I mean, I would say it's not just unethical, that's fraudulent. I'm sorry, but that's fraudulent. That's just insane. Donation to his super PAC, or to his PAC, to his political action committee. So crazy. Oh, anyway, excuse me. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna yawn here. Nobody stops him. That's right. That is right. Why isn't MAGA up in arms? Because, like the survey said, almost half of Republicans don't think Trump is very ethical, but they don't care. That's why I said, like, thank you, Heather. Merci pour la baguette. Le petit in Paris. That's why I said, like, you've got to, stop worrying about winning over the Republicans, win over the people in the middle. Just the Trump supporters, some of them you'll get, but generally speaking, win over the people in the middle, My dog is looking very cute at the moment here. I am yawning too much. Sorry. Where's my, hold on. Oop, too dark. I'll use my phone. That's too dark. That's too dark. The phone should the phone will give a lighter picture. There we go. That's my live shot of Sasha asleep in the little bed under my desk while I work, looking very cute in her little sweater and her little cat bed. I got it. I hate the pink, but it was a really nice, it was like on super sale at Amazon. And she loves it because it's like it's tall and kind of wraps over you, which cats love. And she freaking loves it, So I was like, all right, what do you do? What do you do? Yeah. Mods, go have fun with make sure you report the scammer though. Not that TikTok cares, but it's worth reporting him too. You wonder if this shit works. We've got a scammer pretending to be Elon Musk. Yeah, actually, a bunch of you report him because it can't hurt. It's at least possible that if you report it, at some point, TikTok will do something about it. Ha 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 ha. So yeah, nothing new about the virus. I looked it up last night. The virus did not sound as scary, the Nipah virus, as folks. I mean, it was like it comes every year. Thanks, Heather. It comes every year. Did he say Tesla? Did it say Tesla? Elon the Tesla guy. Elon the Tesla guy. Yeah. I think Elon Musk would know how to spell his own company would be my question. ICE trials in the future, hopefully. Yeah, Ecuador's filed a complaint. I think they filed the complaint yesterday, actually, when it happened. They had already filed it. Yeah. So anyway, what else? We got a couple more minutes. All right. Thanks for reporting them, guys. It can't hurt. It bums me out because TikTok just isn't very good about reporting the bad guys. They're good at sort of looking at people like us and punishing us. Thank you, Heather. But they're not really good at taking down scammers like that. I feel like, I mean, I don't know. You'd think, who is really in charge where? Here in the US. Well, that's the irony thing. The Trump people everything Trump does is an accusation, right? And saying, oh, Biden wasn't in control of his presidency. He was so old and out of his mind. It was really the staff running things. And you kind of go, okay, Who does that sound like? Salut, Nicolas. Like, who does that sound like? Right? Right. Everything's an admission. Exactly. Anyway. ICE trials. Exactly. ICE trials, the new Hunger Games. Exactly. Oh, man. Oh, la, la. I'm tired now. Yeah, there's a new Alex Peretti video that the Republicans are sharing that you kind of love it. Basically, they found a video of Alex Peretti kicking an ICE vehicle's rear view taillight from weeks ago. And it's like, oh, so you're saying he should be publicly executed by law enforcement because he kicked the taillight of a car? You could arrest him for that. Yes. Public execution? No. These guys are out of control. They're out of control. And they were assaulting a woman, which is why he wasn't even doing that, by the way. Now, his family, good question. His family identified him in the video. Actually, that's a very funny question that you say that. That's actually very interesting. I don't know where the video came from. That's a funny question. Because the family said, oh, that's him. But of course, even if it was AI, the family would say, well, yeah, that's him. We don't know where the video came from. I just assumed the video came from somebody credible, but you're right. I shouldn't have done that. I didn't sort of hear where the video came from. I just assumed that CNN or somebody had checked it out before they shared it. You know what I mean? I'm hoping. I mean, I do remember it being the same clothes, and I thought that was weird. Because I was like, it's not like you have an outfit to protest ICE. You're on the street. Now, you'd wear whatever clothes are warm, but, your pants at least would probably be different, right? Yeah, I'd have to see. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Even if he did it, they're trying to say, again, he kicked the rear tail light of an ICE vehicle, so it was okay to publicly execute him with 10 bullets 2 weeks later. No, it's not, because this isn't Russia. This isn't communist China. This isn't North Korea. We don't publicly execute people because they kicked the tail light of a car. That's sick. It's completely sick. So Anyway, what else, guys? A few more minutes. Let's. Emil goes, "You do now." This is true. I say, usually I'm the one who catches myself when I say that. I go, "We don't do that in America." Thank you. Now, I go, "We don't do that in America." And I go, "Well, okay, we do now." Right, we do now. Right, we absolutely do now. Well, now we don't need the excuse of the taillight because they didn't know about that. Now we just publicly execute, sadly. But yeah. Well, that's the other thing, actually. A number of China and Russia observers have been saying that actually what ICE is doing doesn't happen in China and Russia. It happens in Turkey, like it happens in Iran, but it doesn't actually happen. The police don't beat people in public in Russia and China. Not really. I mean, if just not generally speaking, not to the degree that ICE does it here in America and Homeland Security and Border Patrol do it in America, which is even worse in a way, that they're behaving like Iran, I mean, my God, or Turkey, which again, not a very democratic government in Turkey. Anyway. I mean, again, yeah, China and Russia, obviously far worse in other ways. You might have, I did see that. Yeah. Matthew Capucci was saying you guys might get snow in Florida. I did see that. Yeah, they have, right. Wilson says they have standards. They do it in private. True. Exactly. True. Like the Saudis. We know what they do in private. Well, that's the thing, Emil. I mean, Emil says lives in Finland, where if that were happening here, they would be receiving treason charges. That's the thing. If this were anything other than the Trump presidency, these guys would be in prison right now, facing murder charges. The only thing is, Republicans like too many Republicans freaked out about this. It's going to be very interesting. I mean, and what I worry about is what's going to happen nationwide if they refuse to prosecute these guys. That could be a problem. You know what I mean? Like Rodney King and some of the other kind of situations. These guys literally are federal officials who did a public execution. If they are not prosecuted, I think that's going to cause civil unrest. I think. And it's going to be obviously all Trump's fault if that happens. And that's what he wants. He wants civil unrest so he can invoke the Insurrection Act, which is very scary stuff. So anyway, there ought to be outrage, obviously. Oh, that's kind of cute. Thank you for the cat. The pinch. Oh, that was a pinch face. Thank you. Yeah, the name thing, they're going to have to get their names. Cindy, I speak more or less 5 languages, but it depends. My Greek is, okay, but I'd never say fluent. My Italian, it's rusty, but I'd say fluent. French and Spanish are definitely fluent. And my Greek is okay, but I'd have a hard time. I'd have a hard time having a lot of conversations in Greek. Like I said, it's okay. But anyway. Yeah, I've always loved, I mean, I've always been good at languages, and I've always loved them, and I like traveling, and I like international stuff. I love going to foreign countries, and I love meeting people from other countries, and I love it. I've always enjoyed it. So, anyway. All right, another minute or two, guys, and then we're going to is that Big Hawk or somebody else? Oh, it's Jocelyn with the floating octopus. Thank you, Jocelyn. Well, WC, we don't need mods if you're not going to tell me what the problem is. So, you know how I am about people giving vague little hints about there being a problem with a troll and not telling me that there's a problem. So, so anyway. Oh, that was it. Okay, well then that's fine then. That's fine. Oh, I thought you were saying there was somebody else. Okay. Any news on tariffs? Well, no. Learn Dutch and come to the Netherlands. Well, I have a Greek. I should have hopefully I will have a Greek well, I won't have a Greek passport. Hopefully I will have Greek citizenship in the next 6 to 9 months. And then I can go wherever I want. Although I don't know if I'd move right now, but who knows? But it'd be nice to have the option. I just kind of wish, it's the thing that kind of sucks is like, as you get older, I think you do kind of I couldn't have gotten my citizenship earlier because we could never find the papers until last year. We just couldn't find them, but it still bums me out because I would have liked to have found them when I was 30. You know what I mean? To have your whole life ahead of you would be kind of cool. Greece is not worse than where I am. Not at all. No. I just mean, I don't know if I'm ready to move yet, but good night, John. But to have gotten Greek citizenship in my 30s, but we couldn't get the documents then. So also, it was with the internet has made things so much easier. It made it easier for me to get the documents I needed from Greece. It made it easier to find forums online where people could help me figure out. I applied for Greek citizenship last year at the end of the year. And in principle, I should find out in the next 6 months or so or less if I get it. And then there's a process after that. But it was extremely difficult finding the paperwork in Greece because I had to find paperwork back to my grandfather who was born in 1881. And it was not easy finding the paperwork in Greece. And I finally last year was able to find it, but it was the internet that kind of helped me find it. And at the same time, I think the records in Greece are slowly getting digitized, which helped them find them because a lot of the Greek records are in books. And it's hard to get somebody to go check the book from 1881. Like, unless you're in person and you know them, they don't like doing that. So it just wasn't very easy. I do look very Greek. Well, that's good to hear. Irina. Oh, hold on. Perimene to skilo muselinero. 1 second. Oskilos. It's oskilo, I guess. Oh, what do you want? Anyway, my dog wanted water. But yeah, my family's from southern Greece. But anyway, no. So it's finally, like I said, I finally was able to get the documentation I needed. So I am going dual. Yes. Well, again, touche bois. You know, what do you say? You guys don't. You don't say toco madera, do you say in Spanish? I don't remember. For Spanish to say like touch wood for for like in English we say oh my God, knock on wood. We say knock on wood. In French you say touche bois, to touch wood. So is that what you say? Toca madera? But is that the actual expression? That's oh, si Dios quiere. Well, si Dios quiere is different. You actually do. So that's what you said. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Because toco madera. Oh, do you say toco madera or toco madera or toca madera? Is it like a mandato or is it a yo toco madera? You know what I mean? Like which one do you say? You say toco, some people are saying you say both. Okay. Because in English we say knock on wood like a mandate, a command, right? Knock on wood. Like, oh, knock on wood. And in French, it's this. Well, in French, I'm assuming it's touche bois is touche bois. It's right. It's the mandate in French. I've always assumed. When I think touche bois, I think it's like I'm telling you touche bois. But toco, it's both. You say, oh, the Brits do say. Okay, I was gonna say. I thought the Brits might say that. That's what I remember. I remember hearing the Brits say it, and I thought that's the funniest thing because we don't say that here. Here you say knock on wood, like to knock on a door. You can see the plants. Yeah, these are my kind of indoor plants, although some of my outdoor plants are indoors. Somebody on YouTube or TikTok wanted to see the plants. Oops, I'm trying to move out of the way. But I have, here, go this way. Indoors, I've got I have many Christmas cactuses. Some, is it Sansevieria, whatever, mother-in-law's tongue. I've got actually a lemon tree growing up there that I've got to decide if I'm going to clip it soon so it branches out. I've got some orchid cactus that had better bloom soon because I'm getting annoyed. But I do have a number of different, and my African violets from my mom that are growing very nicely back there. But my Christmas cactuses are very interesting. I have a number of sort of interesting Christmas cactuses because like the big one here is probably a cutting from my mom, although it could be a plant I bought in 1989 when I first started working at the Senate, because the U.S. Senate had a plant guy in the basement who would bring plants. Either way, it's either from the Senate in 1989 or it's my mom who got it from my grandma. But I took a cutting of my mom's, which is back here. So at least we do have a plant that we know was mom's, because mom's is neat because it was mom's. And before that, it was grandma's cuttings, which means it goes back, I think, like the 1960s or something, that we think it was pretty old, which is kind of cool. So that's kind of fun. But I have a number of different, I've got a white Christmas cactus, kind of an orange, sunset orange. That's really cool. The typical purple one, Flower Lady or somebody, I forget, or Dawn, I forget who, has got an orange one, I think, or something that you were going to send me when the weather gets nicer. I always forget which one of you it is. But yeah, we got a lot of snow. We got like 8 to 10 inches. I'd say it was almost like 10 inches, I think. It's Dawn. Okay, it's Dawn. Okay, that's what I thought. But I think it's like a good 10 inches of snow. You have a plant until I had a plant until I was 35. That was my grandmother's. It got sick cuttings. But did you actually get, did it die entirely or no? Did it die though? Yeah, she's got, I think it's orange or it's a really cool, unique color. I don't know if it's red. It's red or orange. It's a really cool, maybe it's orange. I think it's orange. It's a really cool, unique color. Mine is kind of a sunset reddish orange, the one I've got. That's very nice. Slow growing, but it's very nice. Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, I've had even like I've got the one that I really love that was my brother's godmother, who died 10 years ago. And we got the cutting from her 25 years ago, 30 years ago. I don't even know. But it dies. Christmas cactuses are very interesting because at the end of the show, we talk about whatever. They're different. Each one's different. This traditional one, that's this big plant. Oops, go this way. This big plant, the traditional one, the dog is walking around. The traditional one, the dog thinks I'm going to pet her. I was pointing to the plant, so she walked up. I'm like, okay. This one grows very easily, but it grows, but it doesn't flower easily. The red one, I've got a red one that I've got sort of sitting inside of it so that it's getting some sunlight. Literally, I've got the pot sitting inside the other plant. There are two plants together here. The red one flowers, it's gorgeous flowers very easily, grows very slowly. The big one grows very quickly, grows very slowly, and it gets like mildew in the soil very easily. The big one doesn't. The white one grows slowly but flowers easily, and the soil's pretty good. So like they're all different, which is frankly very annoying because I'm good at growing plants, but it's still difficult because you have to learn them and they're all different. It's very annoying. But like I said, the one that I love is that orange red one that was my brother's godmother, and it's just it's very finicky. So I'm trying, I've got, to be safe, I've got two plants that I've been growing, but the backup plant, it's just very slow. I mean, I can even show you the backup plant's probably a couple years old now. Sasha, I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, this is the backup plant, but this thing has got to be a couple years old. For a Christmas cactus, this thing should be 2 or 3 years old easily, or if not more. This thing should be much bigger. It looks happy, but it should be much bigger to be several years old. Christmas cactus should have grown more. So anyway, I mean, it is what it is, as we say, Que sera, sera. But I know it looked like it had a little flower. Is it getting more? I don't know if those are dead flowers. Those might have been flowers that died, or it's getting flowers. I've got to see. Well, I've still got some cuttings that I've got cuttings. When it gets to be spring again, I can auction off the cuttings or give them away or whatever, because I've got the cuttings have been going for 2 years. So I've got to. They've been growing in water for 2 years. They don't need soil, really. But I've got to just give them away because it's stupid. I don't need them. I know, Poppy, I think you said you wanted some. I've got to double check what I've got, actually. I wrote down, one is the red. One is I think it's the white and the red, I think. Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah. Because that one's this is the white. I've got the white and the red. Yep. I've got the white and the red. And the mom's is easy too. I mean, I may do more cuttings of my mom's because it's also nice because it's so old. The mom one is nice because it's so old that one, like I said, goes back to probably the 60s. And even my huge one at least goes back to 1989, which is an earlier, it's considered like the original version, which I don't even know that they have that exactly. Somebody I was talking to in some of the online forums were like, "Oh, that's really nice that you've got the earlier ones are considered a little more interesting, Oh, a starburst color of yellow to red. That's interesting. That is interesting. Yeah. No, they're very, I mean, I don't necessarily want 10,000 of them, but I know Sasha's like, really? All right. You want to go out there again? I'll let you out there again. Like I don't want 10,000 Christmas cactuses, but they are pretty and they just finished blooming. Well, actually there's one little, I've got one bloom here. I don't know if you can see, I've got one bloom left here. Oh, wait, microphone's in the way. Yep. I've got one little bloom. Oh, you can just see on TikTok. I've got one little bloom. I don't think you guys can see on everywhere else, but you can see the bloom. It's like a little magenta. My little magenta bloom that's left. It's the last one. It's funny. Discord. I think there's we must have put a gardening section on Discord. We must have. Oops. Sorry, I'm closing door with towels and everything to keep it nice and closed. The Discord's got to have a little, let me look. There's got to be a plant section. Gardening. Yep, there's a gardening section. Of course there is. I knew there'd be a gardening section. Yeah. Yeah, we've got a gardening section there. We got a gardening section. Anyway, all right, guys. I'm going to go. It's almost 7:30. So thank you for joining us tonight. Yeah, one of these days, maybe, I don't know. One of these days, I'm still thinking of doing shows that are about other things. Like I told you, we're going to get Max Miller probably in March because Max is traveling right now. But Max Miller, who does the tasting history videos, if anybody's, I love Max. I think his stuff is fascinating, but he does the tasting history series. And basically he goes and looks at old recipes, but I'm talking, it could be a recipe from 3,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago or 500 years ago. Thank you, Heather. And he recreates the recipe. He tries it out. And then he sort of talks to you about that, like a quick 5 minutes about the history. Like he goes back and really deep into the history, which is I mean, again, has nothing to do with politics because occasionally I just want to do fun other stuff, but he's just fascinating and he's very personable. And I think tells a good story and he's cooked. And we like cooking too, obviously. So we're going to have a show with Max, but that'll be March because he's traveling. I've got to remember, let me set myself a reminder for tomorrow. Hold on. Remind me at noon to reach out. Oh. I don't understand. Remind me at noon tomorrow to reach out to Kathy Griffin's person. There we go. Kathy Griffin, American comedian, very politically active, had agreed to come on the show. Kathy and I sort of became online friends a few years ago. I don't know how. On Twitter, actually. She must have seen my stuff. I don't know how, but Kathy and I became online friends. We've never met. But she agreed to come on, which is very sweet of her. So I've got to reach out to them again because she was having some procedure and it was delayed a little bit. So now is as good a time as any to have Kathy on to talk politics. So that'll be good. Yeah, Kathy's great. Kathy's amazing. Very brave woman, really. I mean, when you consider everything she's been through. So that'll be fun. But yeah, I've got to, once again, have to kind of, is she on tour now? Ooh, if she's on tour, she might be busy. Ooh, I may have missed her. God, I hope I didn't miss her again. Yikes. Well, let's see. I hope that's not a, when is she in DC? I didn't even see that. Is she going to DC? I hope I didn't miss it. Because if she goes to DC, I could always go to the show and see her. That would be fun. Yeah, take a look and see, Bowie. Or I'll look too. What's her? I didn't even realize she was on tour. Hold on. Kathy Griffin tour. That's interesting. Kathy Griffin tour. All tours dates available. Richmond, Virginia. Richmond's near us. Don't tell me I just missed DC. Boy, she is traveling everywhere. Holy shit. Oh, no, Richmond again? Oh, no, I probably missed it. Was she already in DC? Oh, no. Oh, no, I think I missed it. Shoot. Shoot. Oh, that's not good. Yikes. I think I may have missed it, guys. Or she didn't come to DC, or she came to DC, like I said, and I'm going to say Kathy Griffin tour DC. I probably missed the tour date. Oh, shit. Well, no shows near DC. Oh, maybe she's not going to be near DC. Maybe she's not. Actually, you know what, though? You know what? I mean, to a degree, I could see her not doing DC because of the Trump stuff. Having said that, DC is such a Democratic city that it would be wildly popular. Shoot. What I don't know, like I said, is whether she was in DC previously. It could have been. Oh, well. I'm just looking to see Warner Theater. Oh, fuck. Hang on. Oh, shit. Oh, no, that was last year. Oh, she was here last year. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, maybe she didn't come back. Oh, I didn't know she was here last year. Shoot. Okay, maybe she's not coming back this year. Yeah. Okay. New York is not really close. No. Oh well. Yeah, she was here last year. Oh well. Well, whatever. But yeah, they may say now we've got to wait until April or May to get around. We'll see. We'll see. Um, all right, guys. I'm gonna go. Good talking to you guys. I'll be back tomorrow, 6 o'clock Eastern time US. Make sure to follow me on TikTok and elsewhere. I always forget that until the end of the show. I've got to remember during the, or maybe mods throw it out there occasionally. I keep forgetting to tell people follow me, because then when I tell them they do, but like it's dumb of me not to ask you all. Anyway, thanks, Emil. Good to see you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, New York. It's just New York is a pain. I mean, I love New York, but I've got the dog. Somebody would have to take care of her. I'd spent the night. I do have friends I can spend the night with, but she's getting old, so I really wouldn't want to bring her with. It's just, and somebody watching her. I don't know. We see. This is the problem of having an older dog. You kind of, they control your life. But anyway, all right, Discord. I'm signing off. All right, guys. Have a good evening. Have a good evening. All right. Yep. Hang on. There we go. Discord. Jeep. YouTube. See y'all. Anderson. I'd love to have Anderson Cooper on. Are you kidding? So